Real Madrid reportedly believe that Raphael Varane has failed to respond to their latest and third contract offer because he has agreed to join Manchester United. The offer made by Myrtle and Fletcher, and of course under the instruction and guise of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is we are led to believe to be between £3 to £4 million more per season for the signature and for the centre back Raphael Varane. There's still no official and confirmed decision from the Varane camp, but reports out of Spain suggest that he may have picked Manchester United. On top of that, the Muppeteers reported last night and said that United are pushing hard to get this deal done. They're taking action now to get him into training rapidly. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants him, and they have stated that there are zero signs right now that Varane has accepted a deal or a new offer from Real Madrid or has anything else relating to that matter. We're going to delve into this story in more detail, take your views and take your opinions. Make sure you smash that like button. Here we go. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Good morning to each and every single one of you. Make sure you smash and you share. Smash the like button and you share this stream this morning. Interesting developments in the last 12 hours or so in relation to Raphael Varane. Claims coming out of Spain directly for one of their leading transfer experts over there in Jorge Calabrese, along with the Muppeteers, who every single summer grow with more and more credibility in relation to their transfer stories. They're reporting different elements of this story, but from the same theme, that Raphael Varane has not responded to Real Madrid's third offer. It's believed by many outlets in Spain and clearly into the people that report into the Muppeteers that he will reject the offer. Man United have offered between £3 to £4 million a year additional. I've seen some reports say they offered about £8 million. We've offered around about that £12 million mark. And that seems to be one of the issues for Raphael Varane, that he doesn't feel that he is being paid adequately for a player that's achieved what he has at the Bernabeu, that's achieved what he has in Spanish football, 4 times European, 4 European Cups. He was part of the three-peat that they had a few years ago. So it's interesting to see how this one is going to progress and move forward in recent days, but lots of positive news surrounding Manchester United this morning. When you look at what the Muppeteers said in more detail, we'll read it out again. This is their tweet. Of course, we copy and we ensure that everybody that we quote, we link in when we're sharing our information, especially on Twitter. Don't try and steal anybody's thunder here. It says, Man United are pushing hard to get Varane done. They're taking action now to get him into training rapidly in the expectation of the deal. Ole really, really wants him. Zero signals of as of now that Varane would accept a deal at Real Madrid or has been anything other than straightforward. So that's straightforward with Manchester United in terms of wanting to join. And that's very, very positive news because a lot of people think United may be getting dragged down the garden path a little bit. And of course, back to what Mr. Calabrese has said, Man United's contract offer is higher. And Madrid have told him, and Madrid have reported into him, that they believe they haven't heard from Varane because he's decided to join Manchester United. And as a United fan, I hope that this news is true. I've always felt, and I still feel in the back of my mind, there is a sting in this towel. But it's good news. It's not about me reporting on. One thing I pride myself on the terrace, I won't just run stories that fit my agenda. And my view is I still think he's going to pick Real Madrid, just in my heart of hearts. But I'm very, very encouraged by what we have seen today. Make sure that like button's been hit and that you subscribe to the Football Terrace. I'm going to go to some of your comments now. Lion Sniper here says, you got to hold on tight and do it at the right time. Okay, sorry. So it's a rap. I thought you were making a comment there. Listen, John Barnes rap in the house. Dinesh says, morning, Terry and everyone. It's a beautiful day. And Harry Kane this time in 12 hours will have his hands on the European Championship. I truly hope that he does. Just looking, says, if you keep Pogba and bring in both Sancho and Varane, maybe another DM, that's a problem. Ollie should be able to challenge with that squad. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about it. But there's, again, the irony with Ollie outers. They keep telling us we've got the squad to win Champions Leagues, but crying that we're 2 or 3 players short. I don't really understand it. Jonathan says, I'd be amazed if he agrees to join us. I mean, stunned. Yeah, Jonathan, I would be a little bit, and that isn't because Man United don't have pulling power. It's just the position that he holds, the age that he's had, the situation that Real Madrid are in. But the money's an important part, and often people will get called a mercenary. Rivals will instantly switch on him and call him, I only came to Man United because you offered more money. But we're not offering him a gargantuan salary that is above and beyond other top centre-backs in the world. So it's not like we're going to pay him 500, 600 grand a week, and Real Madrid were offering him 300,000. We're offering him around 12 million a year. For me, that's the going rate now for one of the best centre-backs in the world. So I don't really think we're breaking the bank for him. What remains to be seen now is what Real Madrid would want in terms of an asking price. But this notion that they're going to ask for 60, 70 million, I just can't see that being the case if he turns their deal down. Terry, who would you like if you don't get Varane? It's a difficult one for me. Like, Pau Torres was someone that everybody was raving about. I don't necessarily know how good he is. I watched him at the Euros closely. I was really concerned. But then I watched Villarreal a few times last season in the Europa League and was quite impressed. So Pau Torres is there. Jules Koundé, I think, is very, very exciting indeed. Outside of that, I've not done too much research into it, Neil. So I would be an absolute liar. Absolute liar. April here says, done deal, show time. Thank you very much for tuning in. Morning, David. Hope you're well. Jezza here says it's coming home. I hope so. Morning to everybody. Yes, you know, I haven't been to bed yet. I stayed up and watched Copa America. I watched the UFC. Had some breakfast with the kids. Took Freya to football. Home now streaming, and then it's getting the house ready. A bit of a party today for the final, and of course I'll be covering his sale. I was gutted with the UFC. It was a great card. I was gutted with the Conor McGregor fight. For it to end the way that it did. I'm never satisfied at all. You're going to see a lot more UFC content from me going forward over the next year, and I'm never satisfied when a fight ends because of an injury. It's always disappointing, and because it's an injury as severe as it is, it's not like we can just get it back on in 3 or 4 months. We may never see him fight again, let alone fight Poirier. But there we go. I know some people are happy with it, but I'll leave that to him. Terry, what's the news on CAMAVINGA? There's no update. There's no change. There's no difference. The CAMAVINGA news is the CAMAVINGA news. It is where it is. It will remain where it is for now. There's a number of clubs. There's a number of clubs that are getting involved with that deal. So I would expect it to roll on this summer. World-class players should prove it in multiple leagues, is what Twisted Bubba thinks. Buzzing for tonight is what Marble Hall TV is to say. Chris here says 400k is excessive. Well, Manchester United have offered him. I've read the highest I've read anywhere from a credible source is £12.5 million per year. So if we're going to bring it down to weekly, that's around £235,000 to £240,000 per week. The 400k that was being quoted a few weeks back, there's absolutely no tangible evidence at all that 400 grand has been offered. It's around about a £12 million deal. Man United are not going to go and offer him over £20 million a year when Real Madrid are only offering him about 8 million. United would, as stupid as we've been in the past, we're not operating in that market right now. We're never going to go and offer him, it's more than 20 million. We're never going to offer him 21, 22, 23 million pound a year. I think where some media outlets have run with the wrong story is I did listen to a podcast a few months ago where a financial expert said, if you sign him for free next year, you'll probably end up paying him around 400,000 a week because you're signing him for free. But if there's a 40, 50 million pound transfer fee involved, and his current club are only offering him around 8-9 million pound per year, there's no way Man United are offering him 20+ million pound. It's just, if anybody tries to tell you that's the case, they're just a liar. They're just a pure and utter and unadulterated liar. It's as simple as that. He's currently on, at the moment, he's currently on about 8.9 million a year. I believe the offer may have been slightly improved to about 9 or 10. Some of the first offers that they put forward to him were reportedly backwards. They actually were a reduction in pay for him. He's currently on about £170,000 a week out there, which is a lot to you and me, but not for one of the best centre backs in the world. I think it's, I don't, and he's at Real Madrid. It's a terrible offer. There's no doubt about it at all. Let's have a little look here. A proper club, United, with their 200 million in commercial revenue and 150 match day revenue, will get bankrupt by Varane's wages. I don't see how that's the case at all. They won't. You know what I mean? That they won't. They're going to get 70, 80 grand a week back when Phil Jones leaves. So it'll be fine, mate. Absolutely normal. And again, 400k is not what he's earning. It's an offer around 12 million a year that Man United have put forward. No more, no less. AWB, Varane, Maguire, Shaw. Now that is a strong defensive line. It is. It's a brilliant defensive line, and one that would be capable of winning Premier League titles. One that would be capable of competing with the very best teams in the Prem, and it will improve us massively in Europe. Look at this summer. John Stones is better than any other centre back at Man United, barring Maguire. And look at the improvement in Harry Maguire. In fairness, look how good Harry Maguire is when he's played with a quality centre back like Eric Bailly next to him. We know why Eric Bailly is not going to be fancied on a long-term basis, because his body breaks down too much. If Eric Bailly hadn't have had the injury problems that he's had in the past 3 years, he'd be, in my opinion, he'd be one of the leading centre backs in the world. He was sensational in his first season. He's just never really been able to push on from that point. A few people are saying not with Ollie. Well, again, there's no banter in that for me. I want Ollie to get all the players he needs this summer. I want there to be nothing left on the table. I want there to be no excuses left. I want us to get a final answer. Is he good enough or not? I don't care about preference conversations. Preference conversations are nonsensical, especially if the parameters of the debate are based on preference. There's no point talking about it. If we're talking about who our favorite musicians are, but their number of sales and their number of record sales and their number of awards won don't matter, then it's a pointless debate, because you're dealing with subjective nature. And if it's subjective, it's just there's no point getting into an argument. If you're going to base it on tangibles, did we improve in the league? Did we do better in domestic competitions? Did we progress further in the Premier League? Did we progress further in the Champions League? That's tangible. I've noticed with most Ollie inners and most Ollie outers, when it comes to setting a bar, they very rarely will commit to a tangible output, because that puts them into a predicament to not be able to back their personal, back their opinion. And that's a weakness in them for me. Good morning, Sharik. I hope you are well. Let's get this past 1,000 people watching. Please share this live stream now on your social media platforms, and make sure that like button has been hit. And let's go to some more of your comments. I am going to open up the lines for you very, very soon. What do you think Real Madrid will want in terms of a price for Varane? I think what they want and what they're likely to get could be two very different things altogether. So from my point of view, I've read somewhere like 60, 70 millions they're talking about. Not for a player who's going into the last year of his contract. I don't think that they are... I legitimately don't think that they're that stupid. I legitimately don't think that they're that silly. I legitimately don't think that they are going to... I just don't think they're going to do. They're going to be stupid enough to do that. They'll recoup some of the money if they're offering if they're offering him a pay decrease anyway. That categorically tells you that there is a financial issue at the football club. If there's a financial issue at their football club and the player wants to leave, there's no way they're getting, in my opinion, above 50 million pounds. There's absolutely not a catch chance in hell that they deliver or get that, in my opinion. David says people won't even give Ollie any credit for building this team. At the end of the window, you can compare squads with when Ollie joined, and the end of the window be interesting. Well, I think what is interesting about that take is it's just, you don't need to think Ollie's a good enough manager. You can think that, but also credit him for building a better squad. But they admit he's built a better squad. They admit he's built a better squad, because they do the comparison of, well, look at his squad now compared to X. He should be winning. Well, then credit him. Like, I'm not saying you should. You're like, oh, he's done well to build this squad though for us. Yeah, he has. He's done a great job there. That's all it comes down to with this hyperbolic nature of Man United fans. It's everything's twisted into a negative as opposed to celebrating small successes. And I think I just don't live my life in that way. It's a madness. 50 million should be the price. Yeah, I think 50 million would be a very, very fair price for him indeed. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. It would be. Shane here says Varane would be absolutely massive for Man United with him, Sancho, and if you get CAMAVINGA or a proper CDM, United should be title contenders, no questions asked. And if we sign those players and do what you've said there, you will see that energy from me. You will see that energy from me without a shadow of a doubt. I can't be excited, giddy, over the moon with our window and then at the exact same time not think that we should progress. And if we'd had a better window, looking at how far we finished behind City last year, we should be closing that gap. Now, if City then improve further and they're even better than they were last year, my expectations change again, and they can change during a season as it stands. But I just want to see progression. That for me, every season with Man United, I want to see progression to we're the best, and then I want to see us look to continue to improve on that, or at the very least, flatten that line and flatten that curve. Absolutely agree with you. We're going to open up the lines now for you to come on and have your say. Remember, no other fan channel gives you the chance to speak every single day on such matters. I want your thoughts on both of these transfer stories that have come, one from Jorge Calabrese in Spain and the other from the United Muppeteers. You definitely go and check their Twitter feed out. Via their Twitter feed, you can get onto their Discord server as well. Very, very good platform. Very credible in terms of how they report news as well. Lovely gentlemen over there also. I had a good chat with them last summer as well. Respectful people. So go and check out the United Muppeteers. Twisted here says, Terry, Sal Niguez would transform United. Why not go for him? Watch this space on the Sal Niguez news. That's all I'm going to say to you is watch this space. We have shared that link. If you want to call up and have your say, we've pinned that comment to the live function section, so you can live chat function, so you can come on. So the poll here says we United. Sorry, I wrote we United. I meant will United. Sorry, I messed up the poll there. It says will United sign Varane this year? 65% of you believe that the deal will get done. That's very intriguing. First caller on the show today we're going to go to is going to be man like Fixer. He's coming on to give us his thoughts and give us his opinion on this deal. Welcome back to the team, mate. What do you want to say?
Yeah, hi. I'm trying to get into the line of the camera. Sorry. I want to talk about Varane.
Yeah,
I just want to say I think we should focus on this deal. I'm still hearing a lot of people, talking about doubts. They don't think he's right. They don't think it's this, and I don't understand why. Varane is one of the best centre backs around. I would say after Sergio Ramos, he's the next best thing because his record speaks for itself. He's won tons of trophies. He's a leader, and I think he'll be perfect for Manchester United. However, the last time I called, I was saying we should get rid of Pogba, but I'm beginning to think, right, if somehow we can get Pogba to stay, get Varane in, and get that CAMAVINGA guy, I think that is gonna elevate our chemistry, having 3 French players in the team. And I think that would actually help us out. Because Pogba is the kind of guy who loves to play with his friends and people from, similar sort of background as him. He seems to be happier when he has, French people around him. So I think if we can somehow convince Pogba to sign a contract and be dedicated and have those 2 additional French players come in, you never know. He could change for Pogba, but that's what I want to say, really.
Yeah, look, I think the Pogba situation is interesting. I completely understand why his representatives have been talking very hard to Paris Saint-Germain, because they have to get a situation in place where if the negotiations with Man United don't work out, they have an option. It would be stupid. We praise football clubs for having a contingency plan. So why wouldn't a player have a contingency plan in that way? So for me, totally get it, totally understand it. Makes complete and utter sense. I think from Man United's point of view, if you can get this Varane deal closed off and you can show it to Pogba and say, look, Sancho's coming, Varane's coming. Almost if you could put something in place with him, say, look, do the new deal with us. And if by the end of next season you don't see that significant improvement that we believe will be here, we'll let you go for anything over £40 million. You know, maybe you can work on a deal with Pogba where it's almost that element of, we want to see 100% dedication from you next season. But if we get to the end of the campaign and you're not convinced, we will honor a gentleman's agreement and let you go for that kind of amount. I think a deal like that could be done for Paul Pogba. And I think Paul would also make a concerted decision around, you know what? Do I want to risk moving to another club where it may not work out for me? And look, and PSG, it's almost a guarantee they win the league over there, especially with Poch for a full season. But he might also think, oh, do you know what? Varane come in and Sancho coming in, young CAMAVINGA, he might, as you say, he might just stay. It's an interesting one to say the least, to be honest. In terms of Man United's expectations, if they do sign Varane, they've got Sancho, and a decent midfielder comes in. What do you think the expectations upon Ollie and the team should be next year?
Win the league. There's nothing else. He's already come third. He's already come second. There's nothing else. There's no other place for him to go. He has to win the league, especially if he gets Sancho. How much do we pay for Sancho? Almost 80 million. If we get Varane, that's another what, 50 M. If we somehow get CAMAVINGA and then get Pogba to stay. In fact, let's forget about Pogba now because it looks like he's actually going. But just get Varane, CAMAVINGA, and Sancho. Those are three players who are way, way better than what we had before, and we came second without them. So unless Solskjaer starts, this is, cowardly coaching again, and starts, making wrong decisions and starts playing the wrong players like he was doing throughout last couple of seasons, like Fred and McTominay and all that crap. If he can just somehow get the entire team to function as a unit, including Van de Beek and all the talented players we have, there's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't win that trophy. And even if we don't win the Premiership, win a trophy, win something. Win something.
Yeah, look, I think 100. I think 110%. I think 110%. The deal is moving towards a place. Sorry, the deal would move us into a place where we should be challenging. I don't know about like we should 110% win, because
we have to win one thing at least, one.
Yeah, I understand that. What I mean is though is that you do, in my opinion, you do have to factor in the fact that, in my opinion, you have to factor in the situation that says City could get better, Chelsea could get better as well. But I think challenging is at the very least needs to be there as an example. And if Ollie can deliver that with this team, then you move forward from there. But the great thing is, if you build this excellent squad and we improve, but we can't quite get over the line, we're in a much better situation to bring in a different coach to come in and say, well, nothing much needs to be done to the squad. What is very, very true about this situation is that in other scenarios, what we've seen more often than not is a manager come in, build something, start to get better, and then it dwindle away. So a lot of people say that, Jose Mourinho's peak was better. And you're right, it was, because we won 3 trophies. However, how a manager leaves you is also
important. Yeah,
he's also a key factor. And he left in turmoil. I don't think Ollie is going to lead the club in turmoil, which means it could end up being a better appointment in the medium to long term, because actually everyone talks about the standards being Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues. The appointment of Jose won us some good trophies.
Yeah.
But in terms of the medium to long-term project at Manchester United, which is winning major trophies, it ended up setting us backwards. And I think Ollie's could be the other way, where we may be not winning any of these trophies we want, but we could be in a better position at the end of it for a better manager to come in and take us forward. And I think that's one of the arguments that really frustrates Ollie inners and Ollie outers. They want to all seem to ignore that glaringly obvious point. But listen, Fixer, great call. Thanks for coming on the Terrace, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate it, bro. Top man. Thank you. Make sure that like button is being hit, people. Very, very important to the Football Terrace that you get that done and that you do that for us right now. Do me a favor and make sure you subscribe to the Terrace as well. David here says, as long as we really challenge and again show more improvement, the trophy would also be nice. But if we were 2 points off the top, and get to 2 finals but lose, I'd let him stay. Context of the finish is needed. Yeah, of course. And I think even most Ollie outers would agree with you on that point. It would be how you lose or how far you were away from winning the league title. No doubt about it. Next on the show, we're going to go to Tackle Taken Slowly Pickford. Weird name. But we're going to get you on to have your say. When I see you unmute, we'll get you on so that I know you're actually there because you're currently muted at the minute. Oh, there we go. Welcome to the terrace. What do you want to say?
Yep.
Hello, do you want to speak?
Thank you. Sorry.
Listen, my man, you have to be over the age of 18 to come on and have your say, I'm afraid. Very, very sorry for that. Top man, thank you. Next up, South London. Bay Tech is coming on to have his say. Welcome back to the terrace, mate. What do you want to say?
My guy, Tell, what are you saying, my bro?
I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I just wanted to quickly touch on a few things regarding United. But, all right, so Paul Pogba, quickly, yeah? Like, a lot of people complaining about McTominay and Fred, but if you deep it, yeah, Solskjaer was actually protecting Pogba by not playing him there. Because when he was playing him there, he was losing us games. And he's literally one of the best players, if not the best player that we have. But for some reason, he couldn't be trusted in that central midfield role. And it was a problem. And obviously, McTominay and Fred coming in there, they were like a tried and tested thing. They got us into second. And I think towards the second half of the season, their top performances started to slow down because they played so many games. And if Pogba could be trusted in that position, then maybe people wouldn't be saying stuff like McFred. Like, these people helped us, you know, and it's a big disrespect. And nobody ever talks about all the goals that McTominay scored as well. He scored like 7 goals. That's quite a bit for someone who's playing in a pivot. But we move. But Varane as well, another thing, yeah. I believe that a signing like Varane will definitely transform our team because Lindelof is a bit too soft for me, and his aerial prowess is quite poor. So the fact that Varane is dominant in the air, quick across the ground, he's got that technical passing ability that Lindelof has. Like, we're basically getting someone that is strong in the areas that Lindelof is weak in, which is definitely going to improve that backline. So when people can't penetrate us, and we obviously last season as well, we developed that whole not knowing when we've lost type of thing.
Yeah.
So if we can continue that whole situation, yeah, we're definitely going to be a hard team to beat. And I just pray that Chelsea do not get Haaland this season, so maybe we can go in next season and just complete our team. But that's what I'm on.
I hear you. Listen, great call, mate. Thank you for coming on and giving us your views and your opinions. Top man. Thank you. Viewers, make sure that like button's been hit, please. We're on 750 live viewers. We should be on about 700 likes by now. You're here to support the terrace. That's how you support the terrace. You're here for that reason. Give it a smash, please, ladies and gentlemen. Next on the show, we're gonna go to Ray's here to have his say. Ray, welcome back. What's your take on this news about Varane this morning?
I think it's amazing news. That article you read, I actually read it 2 minutes before it came on your stream. It says the rankings. If Varane comes in, it'll be Maguire, Varane, and Lindelof. In all honesty, if Varane comes in, I think it'll be Maguire, Varane, or Varane, Maguire, then Tuanzebe. I think Tuanzebe would benefit from the experience of the combination of Maguire and Varane. I think Tuanzebe has a lot of potential, and if he get experience in front of him, he could become a good defender.
Yeah, listen, I think he will. I mean, Eric Bailly, it's long been said that even after the new deal, if we signed another centre back, he could leave. Villarreal are interested in bringing him in. They themselves could be losing Pau Torres. I think keeping someone like a Tuanzebe even makes a little bit more sense because, you know, academy player, maybe a little bit happier at this stage in his career to have another year on the fringes, on the bench and stuff like that. But we will see. Listen, Ray, great call, mate. Thanks for coming on and having you say. Really appreciate it. Top man. Thank you. Next up, we're going to go to Pan Afric, who's going to be on the show with us here. Welcome to the Terrace. Who do you support?
Terrace, I'm a Chelsea fan.
Lovely. What do you want to say about the Raphael Varane deal, my friend?
It's a good deal for Manchester United, but I'm here to talk. I'm here to talk today about Lionel Messi. So Terry, I was expecting you to be in a Lionel Messi shirt this morning. What do you say about that, man?
What about Lionel Messi?
He's the greatest in the world right now, and you cannot dispute that fact. I know you have your opinion about Ronaldo, but I'm telling you today.
Look, again, we don't cover what they do. We haven't been covering the Copa America, and big congratulations to Argentina for winning it. I'm really happy that Lionel Messi has that international trophy because too many people disrespected him. Too many people, too many people like disrespected and kind of tried to almost discredit his career because he hadn't had an international trophy, which was utterly stupid. My preference towards thinking Cristiano Ronaldo is the greatest player ever doesn't stop me from completely 110% respecting who and what Lionel Messi is. I don't get involved in the debate. I think anybody that debates that's involved in the debate between the two, when it comes, and one of their methods is playing the other one down, putting the other one down, I have absolutely zero footballing respect for in any way, shape, or form. So my personal preference is Cristiano Ronaldo. And no matter what Messi does, that's not going to change my personal preference. That's the same for a lot of things, you know. It's my favorite music artist isn't even in the top 500 selling artists in the world, but I like him. Do you know what I mean? If we're going to have a competition over who's won the most or who's got the most this or the most that, then it just goes down to straight facts. Therefore, there is no debate. But yeah, well done to Lionel Messi. He absolutely deserves it as a football player. Really, really happy for him that he picked it up.
Yeah, you're a great sportsman, Terry.
Of course I am. Of course I am. I don't do the bitterness and I don't do agendas. It's just, again, I'm a 35-year-old. Any 35-year-old man running agendas on the internet, the police need to take a serious look at his hard drive. Listen, thank you very much, mate, for coming on and having your say. Really do appreciate that. Top man. Thank you. Let's take a look at a few of these comments here. Ronaldo's still done more facts, more trophies, more goals. Messi still is a Don. Both of them are Dons. They are both Dons, and you're allowed to like one more than the other. The one thing I don't think you should be allowed to do, and if I run Twitter, I'd block anybody that does it. If any words like Pinaldo or overrated were ever attached to either of them, you should just be banned from talking about it. Should be every country in the world should write a law that says calling Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi over either of them overrated is a criminal offense. And you are banned from all football participation, playing it, watching it, tweeting about it, talking about it for the rest of your life. Because it's a crime to the sport to slag either of them off. It's a crime to slag either of them off. And if you're someone that does that, my message is please go get help. If you need a hug, DM me. I will work it out. I'll give you a hug. I'll give you some support because you need it. You need help. You need legitimate help. Help. Proper help. It's as simple as Terry's dictatorship. Listen, I would be a dictator on that thing. Sometimes in life, I think you need a little bit of, what's the word? You need a little bit of dictatorship on things. And that would definitely, most definitely be one of them. 110%. Just looking says I'm exactly the same when it comes to that debate. I hate when people try to trash one to up the other, and that's my point. It's horrible to see. It's just nasty. It's just nasty. It really is. It really is. Messi was being disrespected, but now that stick to beat him with an international tournament argument. Remember, he could have chose Spain. He could have done. I'm just happy for him. Legitimately happy. Terry, would you take Konate as a good second? Yeah, of course I take Konate at Man United. Man's serious. Man is a serious footballer, serious talent, and could do bits in a Manchester United shirt. There is no doubt about it whatsoever. Serious baller. Neil here says both great players, but Cristiano Ronaldo is better. Dave, is it authoritarianism? That isn't, yeah. Like sometimes you've got to, is it autocratic? I was making. Sometimes you've got to be autocrat. I think it's
Autocracy.
autocracy, absolutism, totality. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the word I was looking for. That's the word.
Autocracy.
A little bit of autocracy is sometimes needed when it comes to running things, and that's what I would do because it's just pointless. You said Konate, Terry, not Kunde. Sorry, my apologies. That's my dyslexic brain, but you all know who I meant. So there we go. Maradona won the World Cup. Yes, he did. But it's again, I don't deal in like when it comes to politics, I'm not a one policy voter. I think one policy voting it can be dangerous for the greater good. I'm also not a one tick box merchant when it comes to who the best player in the world is. I believe we'll do it on the terrace one day. We'll do a GOAT show and we'll listen to debate and we'll listen to argument, but we're going to make a metric, and the metric will be what things do we throw in and consider? Because what I notice with most people's debates is they're fun debates to watch and listen to, but they're babies. You shouldn't be debating who is. You should be debating what constitutes the greatest player in the world. Decide the metric, and then you fit everybody in. Fit the metric, and then fit everybody into it. And then you can add a nuance for how someone makes you feel and how they look and those moments. But moments can be a part of it as well. Ability can be a part of it as well. Who trumps what? But at the same time, you have to look at domestic achievements, multiple leagues they played in, the amount of trophies, the amount of goals, the amount of assists, the longevity, record-breaking seasons. You know, how all these things, you know, what they did internationally. But then you have to also factor in, but what country did they play for? You know, imagine a player starts their debut tomorrow that's twice as good as Messi and Ronaldo, but he's from San Marino. You could never say, well, he didn't win nothing internationally, so he's trash. It shouldn't be. It's not one size fits all. You have to look at there's be multiple factors and you can feed them in. And then you make your decision. So, yeah, I wouldn't just say because he hasn't won a World Cup, doesn't mean he can't be the GOAT. You know, it depends on the era you're born into and who else is available at that time. We've got Everyday Same to come. Before that, we're going to go to Just Looking on the Football Terrace. Of course, we're speaking about Raphael Varane. Two big reports in the last 12 hours that the deal for Man United is appearing to move closer. Spanish correspondent Jorge Calabrese has said, verified Spanish reporter has said, that Real Madrid fear that the lack of response on the third and final offer into Raphael Varane is because he has decided to join Manchester United. They're his words, not mine. I want your thoughts and feelings. Next up on the show, Just Looking is here. What are you saying, buddy? Hello, mate. You going to speak? No, Just Looking isn't ready. So we're going to go to Everyday Same. Welcome back to the terrace, mate. What are you here to say?
Hello, can you hear me?
Perfect, mate. Perfect.
Okay, Raphael Varane situation. People are saying he's a mercenary if he comes. I don't agree with that because you have to factor in like causality, recent history, and human nature. Imagine if we had a player who was one of the best players in the world that had won 4 Champions League with us, and then he wanted a comparable pay rise or a pay comparable to a new central defender that was coming in. I mean, the reason that De Gea is on 375 grand is because he made us not a mid-level team for 5 years. So one of the dumbest things I hear on like these fan channels is people saying, sign the ting and all this. And it's like, well, no, put the human nature into it. If you're a player on the last year of your contract, at best, the club's been disloyal to you, and at worst they've been disloyal and disrespectful, but we expect them to have loyalty. Money isn't the thing, it's the level of respect that goes with that money. Raphael Varane obviously feels that he's being disrespected, and he has been. And I think that plays a bigger part of it, the actual human factor of this situation, which is why I believe it, we've got a good chance of getting him. And also the thing that people aren't discerning is like the reason we've had such a bad transfer record is because Woodward came in and upset the number one football agent at the time. Now, if you think to Manchester United's relationship with Real Madrid before Woodward, it was excellent. We gave them our best players that we couldn't fit in the team or whatever anymore. So now that he's gone, they'll think, well, we don't hate United. We just hated that, that idiot that didn't know anything about football that like upset George all those years ago.
Oh yeah, and we've already seen that. There's been a couple of one in the Athletic and one in the Manchester Evening News of just better feedback from people in relation to how we're going about things, behaviors, mannerisms, professionalism, and just having football knowledge. Can you imagine? We know they don't have football knowledge. Can you imagine like a great football man or woman sitting there with Woodward? Like have you ever had a conversation with like an uncle or a friend about football and they just don't know what they're talking about, and it becomes embarrassing? Do you get what I mean? Like, how long's half time? Like a stupid thing. Like, did you ever see that thing that they did on Soccer AM where they did like they did a thing where you remember Bob Bradley, the manager? They did like a skit around him, and it was like using all the Americanism words and like not sounding what he was talking about, like not calling football matches or away games, they're called road matches or whatever and stuff like this. It's like I could imagine Woodward being like that, sitting in the room and just people looking, going, what is he talking about on a football sense? So I agree. On your point about Varane, that's the one thing that has struck me as very interesting about this deal, in the sense of I've been shocked that people have kind of ignored it around the fact that he's on. Listen, when I say only, I think for a player of his level and what he's achieved, only being on around 8 to 9 million a year at Real Madrid, I thought was a low salary. The fact they've offered him less for a renewal when he's still only 28 years of age, for people not to think that he would consider leaving because of that is unbelievable. Now, of course, he's going to wait for another offer to come back in. He's settled in the country. He's played there for a long time. But it does appear that Man United's offer is £3 to £4 million more. And that can be a big factor for someone. That could be a big factor. But listen to that. I've helped to win you 4 Champions Leagues, 3 on the bounce. And yet a club that I've never been at before are willing to pay me 4 or 5, whatever £1 million a year more. Like, that plays a massive part in these negotiations, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, of course. Cash rules everything around me. But like, you've got to say that the level of disrespect, also counts. I think, and I just think that people saying, "Oh, well, he's a mercenary if he comes," is kind of short-sighted.
No, I hear you on that. Listen, every day same. Great call, mate. Thanks for coming on. Give us your opinions, mate. Really appreciate it. Top man. Thank you. Next on the show, I'm going to go to Sid. Sid Sings here with us. What you saying, bro?
Hi, Terry. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very, very well. What's on your mind? What do you want to say?
Okay, so again, being a Manchester United fan, so recently we got to know about, with the likes of Juan Mata and Lee Grant getting contract extensions, and they are also now there are rumors about Jesse Lingard getting a new contract apparently. So what I feel is like, is this actually hampering the development of the younger generation academy players? Like, or is this, what do you think about the whole situation?
Say it again so I understand.
Hi. So with the likes of Juan Mata, Lee Grant, and there are apparently rumors about Jesse Lingard getting a new contract as well. Does this feel like the club is actually not encouraging the likes of new academy young players?
No, sorry, I understand now. No, it isn't. Yeah. You got so again, it's don't listen to idiots on Twitter. Like, legitimately don't. Whenever you see a story about Juan Mata's new deal, find the original source and read what's being said. So Juan Mata has taken a very big pay cut. That's because he will be transitioning over the course of the next 12 to 18 months into either a coach or the technical director at Manchester United. And even if he becomes a coach first, he will become a technical director at Man United. Lee Grant, same thing. He is transitioning into one of the goalkeeping coaches. United want to keep an air of continuity about what they're building. So those renewals, ignore them as straight out player renewals. However, Jesse Lingard, if Man United can't find a buyer for him, they're going to give him a new deal. That isn't because they're not going to promote youth. It's they want to protect the asset. They want to protect the valuation, because if they don't give him a new deal, then he can leave for free in a year or so. But if we renew his deal, no increase in pay rise. If somebody wants him, we're still going to recoup some of that money for him. So the club, it's an extra body at the football club. You'll probably be able to loan him out. Another club's going to pick up the salary anyway. But then if let's say we sign a new deal, and then he stays for 6 months here, and then he goes on loan to, he goes on loan to Leicester City from January again, and has another great end to the season. And Leicester City say, well, we want to buy him. If his contract is run out, or he's only got a year left on his contract, Man United lose in the transfer fee. Like we either losing for nothing from our point of view, or they pick it cheaper. So yeah, I've seen a lot of very negative but very uninformed people on social media. Very much, his contract actually runs out at the end of this season coming. So if Man United don't sell him this summer, they would be stupid to not add a year or two onto this deal, because otherwise we'd lose him at the end of it anyway for free. So yeah, none of those.
It's the same with Pogba as well. It's the same with Pogba as well, I guess. Because Pogba could leave next summer.
Pogba signing a new deal this summer, in my opinion, doesn't guarantee that he doesn't leave in a year's time, but it protects the asset, so it's smart. And anybody that doesn't want to, if somebody doesn't want to understand that, I would just block them and move away. Because do you know why those kind of people annoy me? This isn't my opinion. This is what chief and leading financial experts explain. This is why clubs do it, for these reasons. It's not a debate. There's no argument. There isn't a but I think what you think is, not you personally, by the way, see, I'm saying in general, what you think isn't worth shit. The reason it's done is for A. There is no B, C, D, or E, or any other option. It is one reason. It's to protect the asset. So people have got to learn to understand how and why these things operate, and then stop. Like, your opinion means, unless you can give me a fact, your opinion means fuck all on these matters. It's so frustrating, because it's just like they just chat shit about it, bruv. See, we're renewing the contract of Jesse. That means we don't care about youth. You dickhead. It's so thick, these people. Thick as two short planks. They really are. Listen, mate. Go on, mate. Go on.
Yeah, actually, and there was one more question. Actually, I just feel, it's an opinion. Now we have signed, United has also signed Jadon Sancho, but now we are also looking at the likes of Varane and CAMAVINGA as well. Now, with the backing, we can say that if we get those signings, let's just say in a hypothetical situation, and should Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, there will be a lot of pressure on him to win something like a trophy or, Premier League as well. And if he fails to do that, should he get the sack? I personally think he should, because the backing, if we sign Varane and Camavinga or anyone else.
Listen, bro, context is going to be key. If we finish the season on 95 points, but City win it with 96, and we get to a Champions League final and we narrowly lose to, I don't know, PSG, and they're amazing, we have to look at it. If we finish 15 points off the top and go out in the last 16 of the Champions League, then absolutely. But I completely get your point. Top man, Sid. Thank you very much for coming on and having your say. Next on the show, we're going to go to Stacey to come on. Welcome to the Terrace. What are you saying?
Hi, Terry. That bloke was totally wrong, but first off, it was totally wrong about Solskjaer. I've got some news on Lingard.
Okay.
Lingard ain't been offered a contract because there's rumours of him being involved in a swap.
Okay, for who?
Because him being involved in a swap with potentially Harry Kane.
Okay. Harry Kane to Man United and Lingard
Yeah,
to Tottenham.
because and City fans ain't gonna like this because United are being put on odds on favourites to get him.
This summer.
Yep.
Listen, I hope that's true. I wouldn't mind a bit of Harry Kane at Man United, especially if we sign Jadon
Money
Sancho as
and
well.
players. Money and players. That's what's been said.
That would be amazing. And would that be a deal you would like to see, Stacey?
Yeah, because we are definitely getting close with Varane. Definitely.
We're definitely getting him.
Yeah.
I hope so as well. Stacey,
By the
thank
end
you.
of the week.
By the end of the week. Listen, I hope so. I hope so. Final question. Is it coming home today?
Absolutely, because I'm going to the game.
Are you? Well, listen, you go and enjoy yourself. Have lots of fun. Don't drink too much, though, Stace. Do you know what I mean? Don't be getting all drunk and getting all messy. Do you know what I mean? In the streets of London.
I won't. I'll try not to.
I think you are, Tiger. I think you are. Listen, you look after yourself. Speak to you soon.
I'll
Take
try
care.
to.
All right, bye-bye. Look
All
after
right,
yourself.
take care. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. She's definitely getting messy later. You know it, bruv. Absolutely. Stacey is tier 1. 100%, bruv. 100%. Do you know what I love about Stacey? Stacey's a great fan. Great fan. Just, yep, that deal's happening. This one's happening. I heard this. Love it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And just make sure everybody, you be kind. Be kind is what I'm going to say. Just looking at you there.
Yeah, can you hear me this time?
Yeah, I can hear you, my guy. What do you want to say, my friend?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I don't like the idea you guys get a Varane. I don't like it at all because I think that makes you guys a much better team. And with Central coming in, and if you could get a DM, or if what the previous caller said comes to fruition, and you could pull a rabbit out the hat and get Kane, then goodness gracious, I don't like it. I don't like that.
Why?
Because you guys could challenge, you guys could win the league even with Oli. Because I mean, the team is just good, and you guys didn't do too bad last year. But obviously, I just think that the league is going to be mad this season. I think it's going to be a close race for the title.
I hope so.
Especially if you make the signings.
I truly, truly hope so, mate. I really, really do. My bro, thank you for coming on and having your say. I really appreciate it, mate. Top man. Thank you very much indeed. And everyone that's tuned into the Football Terrace today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Do me a big favor and smash that like button. We're back later on today with more content for you. And of course, live after England versus Italy in the European Championship final. But until then, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very